Okay, what if the wildest conspiracy theories you've ever heard were actually true? Today, we're diving into a story that claims exactly that. It all comes from an interview with a man named Dan Burisch, an alleged whistleblower who says he worked on top secret government projects involving technology that sounds like it was ripped straight from a sci-fi blockbuster. And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? What if all of it? Stargates, devices that let you see the future, even treaties with humans from thousands of years from now. What if it were all real? According to Burisch, this isn't just a fun what if. He claims this was a hidden operational reality. So, to unpack this absolutely incredible story, we've broken it down into 5 key parts. First, we're going to look at the mind-bending technology itself. Then, we'll get into the players, all the different groups involved, and the treaties that govern them. After that, we'll explore the catastrophic future they saw coming, the radical plan they hatched to shut it all down, and finally, what all this means for our future, which is now apparently unwritten. First up, let's talk about the hardware. According to this account, this whole secret world revolved around 3 very distinct and pretty extraordinary pieces of technology. And each one had a unique and incredibly powerful function. So, the Stargate. What's fascinating here is the claim that these aren't just some natural fluke in space-time. No, the story is that these are man-made machines, actual hardware, built to tap into naturally occurring wormholes, what physicists would call Einstein-Rosen bridges. They basically let you piggyback on these cosmic shortcuts to travel through space, and yes, even time. Okay, so next up, you have the Looking Glass. Now, this thing wasn't for travel at all. It was actually a back-engineered version of the Stargate, and it was designed for one specific purpose, to peer into the future. But here's the twist. It didn't just show one fixed timeline. Instead, it revealed all these different probabilities, a constantly shifting set of potential outcomes. It's described as a kaleidoscope of time. All right, let's break this down to make it super clear. Stargates are for transport. They use the original tech to basically open a doorway so you can go somewhere. The Looking Glass, on the other hand, is just for observation. It's a later invention designed only to see what might be on the other side of time, 2 very different jobs. And then there's the third piece of tech, and this one is maybe the most dangerous of all, the cube. It was another variant, but it had this critical, flaw. It would actively react to the emotions of the people using it. Think about that for a second. This meant that human feelings like fear or excitement could dangerously skew the information it was showing, making the whole process incredibly unstable. Okay, so we've got the tech, but who was actually using this stuff? Biersch describes this really complex network of different groups. We're talking both human and not so human, all tangled up in this web of secret treaties. The cast of characters here is, well, it's a lot. As you can see, you've got future humans from 2 different points in time, the P-45s and P-52s, from 45 and 52,000 years in our future. These larger groups include specific factions, like the J-Rods and the Orions. And trying to keep a lid on all this from our end? You guessed it, the legendary secret committee, Majestic 12. Now, according to the interview, this whole treaty system wasn't some friendly handshake agreement. It was, in Burisch's own words, inflicted on us by the Orions. And why? Because apparently we were given this advanced tech, like the cube, and we proved we were just too emotionally unstable to handle it responsibly. So the treaties were basically a form of control. So you've got this incredible tech, you've got all these different groups. What was the big picture here? What was it all for? Well, it all centered on this critical choice point for the future of the human race, a battle between 2 completely different destinies. And here's where it gets really serious. The stakes could not have been higher. The information coming from the Looking Glass and from these future humans showed that our species was heading straight for a devastating outcome, a reality they called timeline number 2. 19%. Now, that might not sound like a huge number, right? But think about it this way. That's like playing Russian roulette with a 5-shooter. And what's even crazier, they were only 85% confident in that number. So there was a lot of uncertainty around a really terrible possibility. And we're not talking about a small disaster here. This quote from Burisch really drives home the sheer scale of the catastrophe they thought they were trying to prevent. He's talking about a potential outcome involving the deaths of 4 to 4.5 billion people. It was a future they believed they had to divert us from at any cost. So, you're staring down the barrel of this horrifying future. What do you do? Well, the groups involved decided on something pretty radical, a complete technological shutdown. And this is the crazy part. They came to this unbelievable, paradoxical conclusion. The very tools they were using to see the disaster were actually helping to cause it. The data suggested the equipment itself was a proximate cause, possibly by pumping energy into Earth's systems and just making everything more unstable. So, the solution was really methodical. Step 1. They collected all the known devices from all over the world. We're talking over 50 Stargates and a smaller number of looking glasses. Step 2. They broke each unit down into its 3 core parts. And finally, step 3, they intentionally separated all the pieces. So who holds the keys to the kingdom now? Well, the separated components were apparently distributed among 3 huge international players: the European Union, the United Nations, and NATO. The idea is that no single group has all the parts to one machine, which creates this kind of technological standoff to prevent anyone from putting them back together. All right, so the tech is gone, it's dismantled, it's scattered to the winds. Where does that leave our future according to this story? Well, it leaves us with a blank slate. This timeline really puts everything into perspective. You can see the tech pops up back in the 60s and 70s, that season of catastrophe they talked about. That's the real danger zone, from the 80s up to 2016. All the devices got shut down in the mid-2000s, and Burisch speculated they wouldn't even think about reassembling them until at least 2017, just to make sure we were safely past that window of danger. And this really gets to the heart of the message here. By dismantling the technology that could predict and maybe even influence the future, the power was theoretically returned to us, to the people. Without some elite group being able to peek at the outcomes, our collective destiny is back in our own hands. So that leaves us with the big final question, right? If the map to the future has been completely shredded, how are we supposed to find our way? Well, according to this story, the answer isn't about trying to find certainty, it's about embracing our responsibility for what comes next. Burisch apparently summed it all up by quoting the very last lines of H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. It's a really powerful statement. The idea is, even if some people believe civilization is destined to fail, it's our duty to live as though that isn't true, to act with hope and kindness, and to write our own future, because now it's a blank page.